Federal Drive is presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, proudly providing health and dental benefits to federal employees and their families. Visit GEHA.com.
Threats against public servants have surged in recent years, affecting not just officials, but also their families. The Public Service Alliance offers a lifeline of curated tools, legal support, and crisis response services to help current and former public servants stay safe and resilient. Here to talk about the dangers facing the workforce and the resources now available to support them is the founder and CEO of PSA, Isabella Ulloa. Ms. Ulloa, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Terry. It's good to be here.
Let me ask you first to tell us about the Public Service Alliance. You started it up. What inspired you to create it?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So the Public Service Alliance, PSA, is a nonpartisan organization that we built specifically to empower the more than 23 million current and former public servants across the country and across political lines to better protect themselves and their families at a time in our country, unfortunately, that is the most dangerous time to serve in recent history. And we stood up PSA to be able to do three things at scale. The first is build tech-enabled products like our marketplace, which is the first ever marketplace for this community, to be able to provide folks with free and much more affordable access to a range of resources that they need and deserve. The second is public education about the threat landscape because the threats facing current and former public servants have skyrocketed over the last decade. And then the third is structural reform to make public service safer. And so we are building a strategy around that. We'll have more to share toward the end of the year, but we're very focused on trying to understand the systemic solutions that make it safer to serve.
Well, as you talk about the threat environment, it really doesn't matter whether you're an elected official, an appointed official, a career official, at what level of government you serve, which party you serve on. It is dangerous these days. Tell us about the threats particularly that PSA is focused on here.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, what the data shows is that threats against current and former public servants at every level of government, federal, state, and local, affecting people of all different backgrounds have really surged over the last decade with very little scalable support for people who are at risk, which in my view is a really broken business model for effective government, including because it deters the best and the brightest from serving, from running for office, from serving in government, from otherwise serving their communities. The threats that we are particularly focused on fall broadly into the categories of privacy and security, because given the way that social media operates, given the availability of our personal information, such as our home addresses online, it's very easy for folks to become a target, unfortunately. And so the threat landscape is very unpredictable in the sense that anyone can be vulnerable. And so we believe that it's really important to elevate folks' preventative baseline. And what we mean by that is taking very proactive steps to scrub personal information off the internet using vetted online data privacy services. For folks at elevated risk, monitoring a range of different social media platforms to keep a pulse on whether they've been doxxed. Meeting with our experts who are, for the most part, former Secret Service and FBI folks to understand what steps they can take to harden their homes, to become more aware of their surroundings. We really are focused on empowering folks to be able to take these proactive preventative steps that increase friction between themselves and folks who might want to do them harm. But in addition to all of that, we also focus on providing folks with crisis response support, primarily focused on access to legal counsel and to crisis communications experts at a cost that is significantly below the market rate. In addition to that, we provide access to a range of services that are designed to support people's well-being broadly across their career development and across their personal wellness. So really trying to build and provide solutions that are comprehensive in terms of what this population needs and deserves.
I'm speaking with Isabella Oyoa. She's the founder and CEO of the Public Service Alliance. So let's go back for a minute. If someone thinks that they have been doxxed or they're feeling like they're a victim of harassment, what sort of services does the Public Service Alliance offer right away to help them deal with that?
Yeah, so folks can go directly to our website, thepublicservicealliance.com, through the marketplace, which anyone can review for free and access its free resources. They can sign up for a number of different online privacy services with different companies that we have vetted using objective criteria that will, on a recurring basis, pull personal information down from data broker sites, of which there are hundreds. That's the first thing they can do. The second thing they can do is leverage our free safety and security checklist to take a number of different steps that not only protect their online privacy, but also help increase their personal security, their home security, and things of the like. The third is they can sign up for security sessions with our security experts, former Secret Service and FBI folks, that will help individuals understand relative to where they fall on the risk spectrum, what steps they might consider taking to better protect themselves and their families. And then we have additional tools for folks who might be at elevated risk. So threat monitoring tools, as I mentioned, that will notify folks if they've been doxxed. Certain cybersecurity tools that are particularly relevant for folks who might have some sophisticated targets on their backs relative to the work that they might have done in the past and things of the like.
So that's really helpful. And one other thing you mentioned up front was that the Public Service Alliance is nonpartisan. Why is that so important, first of all? And second, how does it affect how you work with public servants of both parties?
The fact that we're nonpartisan is critical. We believe that the safety of the people who have chosen to serve our communities across the country absolutely must transcend politics and partisanship. We believe that as Americans, we should be able to disagree without threatening people's lives and livelihoods. And so we serve anyone who meets our eligibility criteria, current or former government employee at any level of government, any branch of government, regardless of any political affiliation.
You also mentioned up front that you cover 3 topic areas: the marketplace, the threat environment, but structural reform to improve safety of public servants. I'm not going to ask you to tell us exactly what you're working on, but describe the kinds of reform you would be thinking about here that could give folks a little bit more confidence that they'd be safe serving as a public servant.
So some of the things that we are looking at right now include permissible advocacy around consumer data privacy legislation, as an example, to be able to ensure that the personal data, such as the home addresses of current and former public servants, can be protected from unnecessary online disclosure in a way that still aligns with First Amendment principles. We don't think those two things are mutually exclusive. That's the first thing. We're also looking into how we can better equip a number of different leaders at the state and local level with a variety of different tools that they need to help folks feel safer serving, and to hold accountable those that might seek to attack us, again, in ways that are in alignment with First Amendment principles and other constitutionally protected rights.
And so what do you most want current and former public officials to know right now about the environment and about PSA?
First and foremost, that we have your back. We were stood up specifically because for too long, the support that current and former public servants deserve was not available at scale. And so we have built a series of solutions that are designed to meet you where you are and to empower you to better protect yourself and your family. The unfortunate reality is that public service in America is more dangerous today than it has been in a very long time for the reasons that we've discussed, Terry. And it's important for folks who've chosen to serve their communities to take proactive steps to better protect themselves and their families. And we hope to be able to provide as many options as possible, either free or in a much more affordable fashion, to support you in doing so.
I've been speaking with Isabella Ulloa. She's the founder and CEO of Public Service Alliance. Thank you so much for sharing these resources with us today.
Thank you, Terry.
We'll post this interview at federalnewsnetwork.com/Federal Drive. Subscribe to the Federal Drive wherever you get your podcasts.